Alright guys, here's going to be my second video. This one's going to be a little bit longer. It's going to be about scrubs. A few things I want to talk about on scrubs. Most of you guys know this, but for some of us that don't know, there's two basic ways on how to scrub. There is the wheelie method, carry the front wheel, and then there's the scrub button, which the game actually just includes. And obviously most of us know a combination of the two, if done right, is the fastest way to go on a lot of jumps. But it's really important to know that a different combination of any different of these types of wheelies and types of body positioning will actually yield very different results in how you jump. Because at the end of the day, the battle for scrubs is really just turning vertical motion into horizontal motion, keeping momentum without going too high, while also somehow maintaining height so that you get over whatever landing it is that you're trying to make. And so for the first example, I made this step up, and as you can see, I'm just kind of going through like various types of scrubs. I wheelied and looped out. I leaned forward and scrubbed a little too hard that time, cut the swing arm, and that kind of shoots you up. And then this time you see I leaned back. This is a type of scrub that I think is underutilized in a lot of people. Everybody just tries to do the lean forward and scrub because it saves the most time. But in a scenario like this, you actually want to keep a little bit of height because you have to keep it, you have to be able to make it over the landing of the step up. If you go too short like this, you case it, you're obviously losing time. You can do it in this scenario, like I think I get it here if you lean forward, but in my experience, it's a little bit more inconsistent than the leaning back and scrub in certain scenarios. If you lean back and scrub, you can almost do it the same way every time, and you get height while being able to still get a little bit of a scrub out of it, versus if you try to lean forward, sometimes it's way too easy to accidentally scrub too early or too late, and then you get an entirely different scrub. You're going too high, you catch the swing arm, you bounce too high, or you go way too low and then you land right in the face of the jump. So this first video, I'm just trying to highlight that there are different ways of using the scrub button and doing scrub wheelies, and knowing how they're going to shoot your bike is pretty important, and knowing which ones are consistent is important. I made this next section. I kind of did this section to exaggerate that. You can see there's like a step up followed by a really difficult step up to make, and the problem with this section is that you have to land perfectly off of the first step up in order to make the second one, right? So you need a perfect amount of height while not casing or overshooting. Otherwise, you won't make the next jump. So if you don't scrub at all, you're going to go too far in the first one. If you lean forward or wheelie scrub, as you can see, you're going to case it and you're not going to get over it, right? I think a few times in this video, I make a point to get it right. I think right here I get it right. Yeah, by leaning forward and scrubbing the traditional easy way. But the problem is that it's very inconsistent. If you scrub too early, you'll go too short. Scrub too late, you'll go too far. It's very hard. Versus what I'm doing right here, you could see I just lean back and scrub, and I get it pretty much every time. It's a very, very consistent and underutilized way of scrubbing. I think I get it like 4 or 5 times in a row here. Versus if I lean forward and scrub, it's it's like 1 out of 3, which if you're in a team jam or something where we have a time constraint, it's pretty important. So see, do it there, lean forward and scrub, too short, lean forward and scrub. I get it right there. That was good. Let's see this next one. Lean forward and scrub, too short. Lean forward and scrub, too short. Lean forward, wheelie a little bit. I actually got lucky there by wheeling. And sometimes getting lucky is the best way to do it, but I opt to choose the more consistent one, especially if it's a a section later in a track, I'll opt to go the more consistent route that I know is going to work, even if it might be a tenth slower or not. This next section I made. This is a good section for a wheelie scrub. Wheelie scrubs are arguably much harder than just using the scrub button, depending on the section. But sections like this, this is how you can catapult yourself from like a top 1,000 player to a top, 100 player really easily, is by recognizing that when there's a section where you can wheelie scrub pretty consistently. So in this scenario, you don't have to hold a wheelie for very long, right? It's almost as soon as you land, you're already in a wheelie. I made a new section, which is the exact same obstacle, but I lengthened it out a little bit just to kind of highlight that. And so you could see that it's quite a bit more difficult to maintain the wheelie as you come up to the jump. But I think this is still a good scenario where I would still try it, depending on where I was in the lap. As you could see, I think I do a few like right here where I don't do the wheelie, and then you easily would have lost time. Coming up, I have a slow-mo right here of how I prepared it. So I get myself in a wheelie, right? And then I leaned my guy forward. If you could rewind that if you want a little bit. I actually leaned him forward as I was getting close to the takeoff. So you get in a wheelie, you lean him forward. I kind of did it a little bit premature. I leaned forward too much there on that one. But the idea is that you want the back wheel to just catch and kind of get flicked off of the takeoff, and you want the front wheel to kind of fly forward. So if you watch some of the top players, when they come up to wheelie scrub, right like that, I kind of scrubbed too early, they'll carry the front wheel, and as they're getting up to it, they'll lean forward more so that it pushes the bike down and forward. It creates a forward momentum rather than just letting the back wheel back suspension compress. Kind of right there, I let the front wheel go forward. So you're going to want to wheelie and then lean forward and kind of let the back wheel just get flicked up. Moving on here to another section. This is kind of a weird section, but I've seen these sections in a lot more tracks the past year or so. It's like a not necessarily a tire tap, but kind of like I don't know. I don't really know what to call it. It's not quite a tire tap. It's a little more of a bounce off of it. But the proper technique, what you want to do on jumps like this, is you want to jump as high as you can off the first one so that your back wheel will catch as minimal of that middle tall hump as possible, right? If you scrub the first one instead, or if you don't go as high as possible and you catch both wheels on that middle one, you're going to shoot too high. So I think what I do on one of these is I actually, see, like that, that's way too high. I actually will preload the suspension on the first one and jump as high as I can so that I can land in a wheelie and actually carry the front wheel over the middle hump as best as you can, and then you could scrub from there. And so you'll see on this last one I just did, I scrubbed on the first one, went too high, and I got an 8.5 seconds. And on this one, I preloaded the first section and then leaned back and carried the front wheel over the middle hump. And you'll see I lost 0.4 of a second on that one. This next type of section is, these are some of my least favorite sections of any track whenever they come up. When you have these like big roller whoops, they're featured in a lot of tracks, but like if you scrub them too hard, you'll case it. But if you don't scrub at all, you'll go too far. And if you do that on any one of these, you'll screw up your rhythm and you won't be able to make the next double. So I see like right there, I scrubbed too hard and then I can't make the next one. Here, I think I scrub it okay. Don't scrub enough on the next one. I wasn't going to make the third one. Did okay, too much, and then now my rhythm's off. In sections like these, there's not really a whole lot of tips. Every single time you jump, it's going to be a little different. See, like this section, I this time I did it good. I think that the main point here is that when you get to those weird sections, you got to be patient with your scrubs. It's really easy to want to to just go as fast as you can and blitz right into it. But sometimes even on like the best time in the world, sometimes you'll see like it's not even that fast. It's just very smooth. I think that's the learning objective for those kinds. This next one, I think this is a this is an overlooked area. I really like this type of scrub. When you have like these rollers or you have like maybe a tabletop or something, you can make up a lot of time if you scrub, but the problem is that a lot of people will scrub too hard. See, like that time I didn't scrub too hard and I was able to float over the top just like that, carry the front wheel right up and over. But if you actually push the button or the scrub button too hard and you scrub harder, like you actually push the front wheel towards the dirt and you can scrape it and it'll make your guy crash. And it's not even because you scrubbed too early or anything or you're too low. You literally just pulled the scrub button too far. And so I call this like gentle scrubbing, where you just barely move your thumb along, and even if you scrub super early, the front wheel will be able to carry up and over the over the takeoff. How to change this? This is actually a really important setting that I think I don't know, maybe some of you guys know about it, but you can actually change the sensitivity of the swiping if you go to your settings. And what I like to do is have I mean, you can see my settings right there, but I will pull the scrub setting where I know if I barely move my thumb, I can induce a gentle scrub and the front wheel will not turn down too hard. And when I'm going over rollers like that, I don't have to worry about the front end tucking and catching the dirt. And then if I obviously want to scrub super hard, I can do that if I want to. But I know get used to like where your settings are, because those scenarios come up a lot.